Okay, so here's how you do your math for your graph. So after you finish your data collecting with your graduated cylinder, you're going to plot your points. And so I already have my points plotted here. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw a line of best fit. Okay. And you're going to use a ruler to make your line as straight as possible. I don't have a ruler for my computer, so I just kind of have to kind of wing it. You are not allowed to wing it. So you want a line that goes through, gets as close to as many points as possible. And my line is not very, my dots aren't very good, so I'm just gonna try and go as straight as I can. Okay, so I'm trying to get as close. Hopefully your dots are a lot better than mine and they make a better straight line, and so you're able to get your dots. If your line does not go through any of the dots, that's okay. If they go through the dots, then that's even better. Okay. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look at how to calculate the slope. Okay. You should remember from back in the day somewhere that slope is rise over run, which is y over x. So this is your slope equation. Okay, you're not going to use your data points to figure out your slope because they're not on my line here. Okay, you are going to, here we go. Okay, you're going to use a point that actually intersects a nice easy spot. Oh, here's one. This looks pretty good. Okay, of your graph, so you know exactly what that number is. You don't have to guess, is it 0.5, if it's 0.6 or whatever, you know exactly what that number is. Okay, so I'm going to take my rise. Okay, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 16, 17, 18, 19. Whoa, hold on, we gotta fix this pen. Okay, there we go. 19. Oh, my line's disappeared. You're gonna circle your lines, your spots. 19 minus 5 goes on top. That's my x, my y. Sorry, guys. And then for my x-axis, that's 10.5 minus 2.5. Okay, 19 minus 5 gives me 14. 10.5 minus 2.5 gives me 8. Do not leave any fractions. Always change it to a decimal. 14 divided by 8. 1.75. Now, if you look at my numbers, I did not keep up with any sig figs. Okay? You have to keep up with sig figs. Okay, when I'm doing these very quickly to show you how the math goes, I usually don't worry about sig figs because I'm trying to be fast to just give you an example. But we'll look at sig figs for this one. Okay, so right here behind that 9, okay, 19, it has 3 decimal places. Your 5 also has 3 decimal places. Okay, when you're subtracting with sig figs, you look at lowest number of decimal places. So if you have 3 and 3, then my answer there, that 14 should have 3 decimal places. Now let's look at the x-axis. Okay, if we look at all these, they only have 1 decimal place. So the way we have it written right now, oh, it's too small. Okay, the way we have it written right now, 10.5 and 2.5 is correct. So our 8 needs to be 8.0. Okay, now we take this math, and remember when you're doing multiplication and division, it's fewest sig figs to get your final answer. So my final answer should not be 1.75. It should be 1. This one I would round up to 1.8, but if you left it at 1.7, because that 5 goes either way, you would be fine. Okay. So we can't leave any number hanging. It needs some units attached to it in science class. So if we look at both axes, okay, we should have volume on the bottom and mass. Okay, so our units are the y-axis over the x-axis. So 1.8 grams per milliliter for our slope. Okay. Next, we're going to look at the y-intercept. I had some questions last class about what exactly is the y-intercept. Okay, think about it. Okay, think about in football, you have an interception. Someone is running into, from the opposite team, is catching the ball instead of you. You're in the way. So if we think about the y-intercept, okay, y, the line is going to go through, okay, the y-axis. So that's why it's called a y-intercept. Here we're going to use our y equals mx plus b, okay, where m is the slope that we just calculated. So we can plug that in. That part's nice and simple. 1.8. And then I got to put a y and an x. So use one of the 2 points that you drew. Okay, so I drew right here. So that was 5 for my y. And it was 2.5. Okay. And remember, we got to keep up with sig figs. So there should be 3 decimals behind that 5. Plus b. B right here is your y-intercept, and that's what we are going to solve for. Okay, so we do that math. First thing we do is we multiply 1.8 times 2.5. Gives me 4.5 plus b. Okay. Okay, and then that's the correct number of sig figs for this answer. Now we need to get b by itself, so subtract 4.5 from both sides. Okay, which I don't even know I did that in the calculator. Okay. 0.5, and then remember, always look, we're subtracting, so lowest number of decimals is your answer. So our answer should just be 0.5. That equals b. Again, we need units. Don't forget your units. What are the units on your y-axis? Mass. So we're in grams. All right, and now we can put it all together. So your line equation, y equals mx plus b, but we're not going to leave any x's and y's and m's and b's. We're going to fill everything in with the correct units. Okay. So y, look on your x-axis, your y-axis, mass equals m, which we calculated over here, 1.8 grams per milliliters, got to have those units, and then x, okay. Right here, we see volume is on the x-axis, so I'm going to write the word volume. And then plus my b, which we said was 0.5 grams. Okay. And that would be your final answer, okay, for your line. And you would write your answer on your graph. Okay. Also, don't forget, on your lab handout on the second page is the graphing checklist. Okay. go through that graphing checklist and make sure you have everything on it so you can get full credit for your graph.